Facebook. Happy Monday to you guys. I'm super excited to be in here with you. I missed you this weekend, but I took a lot of downtime this weekend. After filming all day on Friday, Mama needed no talkie, and a lot of downtime just to recuperate. And so I'm back. It's Monday morning. I'm super excited to be with you. If you guys will just say hello when you get here, I would love that, just so I know Facebook's working exactly like it should. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Hi, Bonnie. I'm glad you girls are here. Thank you. Hey, April. How are you? I hope you've recovered from Friday. April, go look at the bloopers video I just posted on my Facebook page when we're done here. Not my personal one, but my business one. Oh my goodness. Listen, all day Friday, you guys, we were filming in my home for my Creators Roadmap course that launches to the public on October 12th. And it was super fun. But I've never read from a teleprompter before. Hey, Allison. Hey, Wendy. And let me tell you something. Here's what I know about business. You'll be bebopping along, and just when you think I've kind of got this down, kind of figured out social media, I've kind of figured out my email, I've kind of figured what you guys want me to talk about. I'm figuring out some things. Always what happens is something else comes up, and just to keep you humble. And for me, that was the teleprompter. And so it was so funny, you guys. I talk to you all day long on Facebook, and don't feel like I have an excess of saliva in my mouth. I feel like my mouth is normal, okay? Let's just say that. I feel like I have a normal amount of spit. But something happened when I started having to read from a teleprompter, and literally I was choking on saliva. And I asked you guys on Instagram if anybody had some help, and nobody had a suggestion. And so literally I needed a spittoon. I needed a spittoon as if I was, chewing tobacco or something. And so it was embarrassing and hilarious and hysterical. And I know that one time, somebody on here has to know Jen Hatmaker. One time Jen Hatmaker was reading her book for how you have to read it for it to go on to Audible, so the authors sit down and they read their book. And she was giving some tips that her book publisher had told her for when you're reading to control spit or saliva or something along those lines. So if any of you know what that is, please send me the answer to all things spittish, okay? Kathy, it was hilarious. It was hysterical. So when we're done here, go watch that. So anyway, we did videos all day Friday, and it was amazing. I did videos. Amy Dagger from Radio Photography came and did my makeup and picked out my outfits for me. She was here by 7:15 in the morning. I started with Sebastian at Geared Up Films at 9 in the morning, and we went until 1. And at 1 o'clock, I had a group of women who have either taken my Creators Roadmap already or who in my Inner Circle monthly coaching gather in my home. Now listen, some of you on here understand what I say when I say I'm an introvert, and letting people into my home who are not kind of in my inner circle of friends and family feels very vulnerable. Hi, Regina. Hi, Stacy. Who knows what I'm talking about? When your home is your safe space, it feels vulnerable. And I will go ahead and just throw out there that I think even the bigger your business becomes and the larger your platform becomes, having that home sanctuary is going to even become more important to you. So having 4 women who I've coached, and I know from my Inner Circle group and my Creators Roadmap group, but still I've never met them personally. I'd actually met April once, and you can ask April how absolutely awkward I am in real life. I literally met April at a Rachel Hollis meet and greet here in Kansas City in February that Rachel and I were doing. Rachel has new books, and she's going to be on my podcast next month, so stay tuned. So anyway, I walk into the room, and I meet eyes with April, the cookie queen, who's right here on this video, and like a weirdo. I mean, just like a weirdo, you guys. I look at her, and the first thing I think is, I can't remember her name. I should know her face. And I beelined it for the ladies' room and hid in a stall for 5 minutes, sucking my thumb thinking, what am I doing here, Lord? I can't even remember people's names. They're here to meet me and Rachel, and I should know them. So anyway, hashtag awkward all over the place. Oh, April, you're so sweet. And so at least when April came to my home this time, I remembered her name. Okay. It's not that I'm rude. It's that I literally just go blank. I look at people and it just goes right out of my brain. And so had these women to my house, and Sebastian was going to be filming us, and instead we started just having conversation, like not even planning the stuff that was about to be filmed. And we just had conversation about women and women in business and growth and finding our people. And it was such an amazing, powerful time between 5 women, 6 if you include Vicky, 7 if you include Sebastian, my video guy. And what we were talking about is just how important it's been for each of us to find our people online. And what I was telling the other ladies at the table is that when I went online in my business 4 years ago and decided just to put all my eggs in that basket in terms of growing my business online. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Jerry. And when I decided that this was going to be what I wanted for my business future, was for it to be online, I had a really hard time finding my people online. And the reason I had a hard time is because, 4 or 5 years ago, you guys, we were still just using Facebook, mostly to show pictures of our kiddos on their first day of school. Mostly to show pictures of how perfect our life is when we're on vacation. And when in all actuality, we have too much spit in our mouth on videos, right? I mean, that's the truth. And if you're just joining me late, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you'll have to go back and listen to all the spit talk. And so, we were still in a point on social media where we were just showing the perfection of our lives and we weren't showing any behind the scenes. And I really wanted to find a group of people, but the problem is that a lot of people in my industry, they're truly artists, you guys. They're truly artists. Like, they're muralists. So I own a painting company. More about that soon, by the way. Announcement coming. So I own a painting company, and there was this whole group, though, of serious painters who are artists in every true form of the word. And I never felt like an artist. Okay, so these are muralists. These are people that can, you give them just one paintbrush and just some water and like clay, and they can make something gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? You know the people I'm talking about. These are the people that can't wait to paint stuff every day. Well, I was different. Amy Cooper, is your creative circle just for creatives? No, we do have some skin people and some makeup people in the group, Amy, and we're going to be branching out, I think, just past the creativeness of the group. So please come join us there. And so, so I would find, there was groups of artists, and I didn't feel like an artist. I felt like a business girl who liked to paint, who had made all of her money previously by doing artistic type of things. But I only painted for a year before I started hiring all these other women to pray for me, because I kept having babies. Like, I was pushing out babies like we were rabbits up in here. And so I had I was pregnant because we've had 2 miscarriages. So I was pregnant 5 times in 6 years. Okay. So there was a lot of pregnancy going on. There was a lot of pregnancy. And so I just couldn't figure out a way that I fit. And so I had to just make my own tribe at the end of the day. I literally had to just start my own tribe of people because I couldn't find what I needed. And so I knew that if I couldn't find what I needed, there were other women who were looking for the same thing, who were feeling like they were a round peg in a square hole, who were feeling like they just didn't fit. Like, where are my people? I don't know. And it's not like I could talk about business stuff to my best girlfriends and, my mom and brothers and stuff, because they're firefighters. And they are nurses and, very noble, honorable professions. But so what goes on in their world is just different than what goes on in my world. Neither's right or wrong. It's just different. And so, so I started my own tribe, and I started the Inner Circle over 2 years ago. It's been 2 years and 2 months exactly. And we're over 500 women strong, plus Damon, who's right here. Damon, I'm going to brag about you for just a second. Damon just sent me a private message last night. Damon is just kicking butt in the wreath making world. That since joining my coaching group a couple months ago, that he has taken his business to over 6 figures, his wreath making business. And has nothing to do with me, you guys. It has to do with being in an environment where you're with other like-minded people and you're spurring each other on. People are sharing ideas. They're sharing what's working for them. You get other ideas. You decide to try things you've never tried before, and then boom, there goes your business. Just like that. And Damon's private message to me was, and it's all your fault. I'm like, So excited for you, Damon. And so I wanted to encourage some of you today who are maybe still looking for your tribe. And I'm not trying to persuade you over to mine. Okay, let me say that first of all. What I want to say is that some of you are only hanging out right now with the people in your own industry. And this is why you don't feel comfortable. Because you're not like all of them. And not that they are a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. That's not my heart. So hear me, okay? But if you're a makeup person and you're only hanging out in groups with other makeup people, but it just, there's something about it that just, gosh, I need a little more. Or I love how all these women love their mascara, but I just, it's good, but I just need something else. You'll know what that feels like. You'll know what that feels like when, or, yes, April, thank you for saying, join my group and don't look back. Thank you so much. Or here's what else happens. You join a bunch of groups in your industry because you feel like it's the thing to do, and yet you feel like maybe they're a little cliquey. Maybe it's a little high school girlish. Maybe you don't feel included. Maybe you feel like the black sheep of your industry because you've been doing it different. You don't want to do it the same way they do. Somebody needs to hear that today. Maybe you're not the black sheep of your industry. You were meant to do something different. Okay? And it's nothing against the industry that you're in. I'm not saying that. So hear my heart. What I'm saying is, if you felt comfortable and felt like you belonged, you'd never start your own thing. Because complacency keeps us stuck. So for those of you who are like, I'm good here, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who are like, where are my people? Where are my people? Where are other people who think like me, who feel different like me? And honey, if you can't find them, you've got to start them. You've got to start them. So when I couldn't find my people 2 years ago, I started my people. Because I know that when you put yourself out into the world, you will literally attract back to you similar things. You just do. My pastor has related it to this. You can put a whole group of people into a room together, and the negative Nellies will find each other, and God bless you if your name's Nellie. I don't mean that. But the negative Nellies will all find one another. The people whose glasses are always half full, overflowing, filled with glitter straws and a little washi tape on them, they'll find each other. The ones that are just complainers, they'll find each other. You have a way of drawing and finding people similar to you. And so if you can't find people similar to you, honey, start something. It's not as scary as what you think it is. It can be a paid group. It can be a free group. It can just be can we meet on a Zoom call once a month and just talk about business stuff? It can be that. Let me tell you guys something. Today I was supposed to be interviewing my best biz buddy, Carrie Robina, for my podcast. Carrie is my best biz buddy on the planet. Carrie and I are in completely different industries. Oh, Cindy, I'm glad you're here, babe. Carrie is in the health industry, all right? And she teaches people how to podcast, and she has a brand new branch of her business called She Walks in Truth, which is encouraging women in finding their truth in Christ and just what's true for them, okay? And so Carrie's my best biz buddy. Carrie's the girl I call when my business hits new milestones every month, and I tell her how much money I just made. And Carrie does the same with me. Carrie's the girl I call when I have nervous diarrhea, and she'll remind me that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Carrie's the one that I call when I have a block. Like, Carrie, help me think through this. What is my problem? All right? She is my people, and she has nothing to do with my industry. And so some of you just need to extend your tent pegs further out. It's a biblical scripture. You're thinking too small. And had I felt like an artist and I felt like a really serious faux finisher, I never probably would have went looking otherwise. But I never did. I never felt like I fit into that. I felt like I was something different. The truth is I was a business person who happened to be talented at painting and could draw people in the painting thing. And so if your industry is not serving you well, it's not that my industry wasn't serving me well, it's that I just didn't fit. Then you need to figure out something else, and you need to find your people, and you need to find your tribe. If you can't find them, you need to start one, okay? If you're in a bunch of groups, let's say that you are a legging person, okay, and you're selling leggings, and all you belong to is groups that are about leggings. Honey, how many different ways can people sell leggings? Okay, the 50 legging people in that group are all going to be doing the same thing about leggings. What you need to do is you need to be following people in the healthcare industry, in the exercise industry. Let's go ahead and say the painting, wreath industry, and watch how they are nailing it in other industries, and do what they're doing and take it into the legging industry. Do something different. For those of you who feel like your market is oversaturated, you got to look different. Seriously, your business model has to be slightly different than everybody else's, because people get really tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over. If you belong to, let's say you're in an exercising industry and you belong to 20 different groups that have to do with exercise, and there's a couple of them that give you a stomach ache. There's a couple of them that every time you're in there, you just have a little bit of a thing in your belly. Listen, girl, that is your gut instinct. That's your God-given tuition. Hightail your booty out of there and don't care what they think of you. Some of your businesses are being absolutely stifled because you're so concerned about what other people in your industry think. And I'm going to tell you something. I've been saying this the last couple weeks, and I know that it's killing some of you and hitting you right in the gut, but it needs to be said, and I love you. All right? I love you. You cannot put the opinion of others over the well-being of your family. You can't. I get goosebumps every time I say something along those lines. It has to become way more important to you to put food on the table for the people who you call your family, and to change the future for your family, to put money in the actual bank so that your husband doesn't have to kill himself working 2 jobs. That has to become way more important to you than the opinions of people in your industry who you don't even like, who you've never even met. That has to be way more important to you. Will this sting? Absolutely. But eventually, they'll start asking you how you're doing, what you're doing. They'll come around. If they don't, you still have this God-given path that you're supposed to be walking. And you have to do that and not worry about this. Some of you need to just absolutely figure out a way to back yourself sweetly out of some of those groups and go find your tribe. I went and found business tribes and I joined them. I went and watched health and wellness people and I implemented what they were doing in the health and wellness industry, and I just totally tried to implement it to the painting industry and to the creative entrepreneur industry. I watched what social media gurus were doing and I tried to do it in the painting industry. And when I didn't find my tribe, I just made my own. I want to work with creative business entrepreneurs, small business owners, women who are trying to figure out how to grow their business so they can change their family's future. We're not just playing crafting, girls. Hey, thank you guys for sharing this, by the way. Thank you, Ashley. I'm glad I'm your tribe. Thank you, honey. Thank you. For those of you who are like, how do I even start a tribe? I don't know. You've got to figure out your way. For me, it was starting my Inner Circle creative coaching group. And I coach, women and Damon there every single month. Damon, you're not going to be the only guy in there for much longer, by the way. I've been hearing rumors of a couple other men joining us, but it's so fun to say 500 women and Damon. But maybe you're supposed to be starting your own group. And you're going to want to suck your thumb a little and freak out. And that's okay because you don't feel like a leader. And I get it. But listen, God does not call you to something he's not planning on equipping you for. Baby, you've already got it in you. You're just a little scared. And I get it. But he will fully equip those that he calls. And I also firmly believe that God will only tap you on the shoulder for so long before he'll kind of be like, okay, next. Okay, clearly she ain't up for this, but I need somebody who's going to step up and start a tribe for this industry. Who's it going to be? I mean, the Bible says that he scans the earth. His eyes are going to and fro, looking for people who will say, right here, Lord, use me. Tammy, everybody freaks out and withdraws. Everybody freaks out when withdraws. The fact that you're scared is not a good enough excuse. It's just not. We're all scared. We're all scared. There, at every level, there are different fears and different things people are worried about. And so don't think that that feeling of fear is never going to leave, because it's not. You have to get really used to just being uncomfortable and doing it anyway. Here's what I know as someone whose business has really snowballed in the last 2 years. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so I went online 4 years ago. In the last 2 years, let me just say this, the last 6 months, wow, Lord, like I could not have even wrapped my head around it. And at every single level, there's new fears, but you have to just get really used to feeling uncomfortable. Get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. It's so cheesy to go, you know, great things happen outside of your comfort zone or whatever that little meme is. Friends, it's the truth. It's the truth. You're not going to not be scared. You just need to do it in spite of. Go read the book, Crash the Chatterbox. That has changed my business more than anything else. When I realized that at some level, we're all dealing with that inner voice that's telling us we're never good enough, we're never going to be able to do this. We're all hearing the voices of people that spoke things over us in our past, of how we don't measure up, you're never going to amount to anything, what do you think you're doing? That sort of stuff, and I'm not talking about the crazy voices, you know, that we need a straitjacket for, but that sort of chatterbox is normal for all of us. It's normal for all of us. So I know when I started my inner circle group, I started with one person. I put it out into the world 2 years ago in July. So it's been, 27 months or whatever, and hoped for a couple people to sign up. And it started with one woman, and then there were 10 women, and then there were 100, and now there's 520, I think, today. And so, here's what I'll tell you about the small beginnings. The Bible also talks about not despising small beginnings. And what I've told the women that I'm coaching, when their social media is smaller than they want, or their group is smaller than they want, or their anything is smaller than they want, is go all in with the number you've been given, okay? He who is faithful in little will be awarded much. So you just knock the socks off those 5 people in your tribe. You just be a blessing to those 10. You do as much as you can for those 30 who are showing up at your event when you were hoping for 300. Okay? Go in as far as you can. Give 110% of yourself to what you've been given, and just watch. Just watch how that explodes. If you cannot find your tribe, I'm telling you, you need to start it. You need to start it. Somebody has to go first. Somebody has to go first. I'm so sorry that the lighting is just so, I look like I'm glowing, folks. Yes, April, love the ones you're with, babe. So who can I help? How can I answer some questions for you guys? I have some time today. Carol says being scared is a good thing. It means you're out of your comfort zone. Yes. Okay. And this is what I tell people in my group, Carol. Even with having done my group for over 2 years and having over 500 people in there, I still get a stomach ache before I go in and coach them every month. I do, like a training video, and then I do a video where I review their websites or Facebook pages. And then we have a live call every month. And then I bring in a guest instructor every month, because I can't be everything to everybody. So I have to bring in smart people. And here's what I tell them. I still get a stomach ache. And you know why that's a good sign? Because it means I give a crap. And I have literally told the Lord, if ever I get to the point where I'm not nervous before I walk on television, where I'm not nervous before I go on stage and speak, where I'm not nervous before I coach 500 women on how they can change their business, then I no longer deserve this platform. And I mean that with everything in me. If I get to the point where I'm like, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Having a stomach ache means that you actually give a crap. But what I also tell them is having a stomach ache means you're giving a crap. However, it also means a lot of times that we're focused on ourselves. And what if I don't perform? What if I don't give enough value? What if they don't like me? What if? And if we'll turn it and instead look at the people that we're talking in front of, if we consider the people that we're trying to coach, consider the people we're trying to encourage, if we think about them and put the focus on them, it will help with that nervousness. Hey, thanks, Amy, for putting the link to my group in here. Thank you for whoever just shared this as well. I really appreciate you. Trisha, don't you think our human nature is the fear of being rejected when we step out? Absolutely. Positively. Absolutely. But Trisha, here's what I was pondering the Bible story last night about how Jesus was rejected by the people in his hometown. He was rejected by people in his family. He was rejected by some of the people closest to him. And not that I'm all comparing my business to Jesus or your business to Jesus. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that if it was hard for him, like, why do we think it's going to be any different for us? It's just not. It's not. There's always going to be people that are coming against things. And I do think that there's, you find your muscle when you do things in spite of the rejection. I believe that with everything in me. Does rejection sting? Absolutely. Does rejection hurt? Absolutely. Will it have you in the corner sucking your thumb for a while? Probably. Have I been through counseling? Which girl? Which girl goes to counseling every month? This one right here. This one right here. But at the end of the day, rejection will give you some muscle. Okay, sorry. I'm missing questions. Julie says, you're just not sure where to start. You started out this morning asking him to show me, and you love that I popped on. So excited for you, Julie. What do you recommend when we're at a change or fork in the road, when we're trying to figure out what's next? Okay, so June Cleaver, is that your real name, June Cleaver? That's amazing. And you actually have June Cleaver's profile pic, June Cleaver. Okay, so I think that there are several points both in our life and in our business where God transitions us, okay? And so a lot of times it's little tiny shifts. It's like, you know, when there's a rocket ship and the rocket ship is supposed to land here and there's the coordinates for here, but if they shift the coordinates just slightly, just even like 1 degree, then the rocket lands up like queer over yonder, okay? And so a lot of times there's changes in forks that are smaller shifts. Sometimes there's a great big shift. The key is shifting when you know you're supposed to be shifting and not staying stuck. And because here's what happens to us as normal human beings, okay? So we feel like God's shifting us from over here to over there, right? But we still have like one little pinky toe like over there because we're clinging to that thing. We're clinging to that thing when we're really supposed to be dropping that thing like it's hot and shifting over here. And so if you feel like you're at a change or a fork, I would go all in the direction you're supposed to be going. Deanna, I'm so glad you needed to hear this. Oh, Tammy, it's so great when you have other tribe members in the same industry. Are you kidding me? Girl, absolutely. Adopt that mentality of that you're not in competition with the people in your industry. Adopt that mentality. It's fantastic if you can find tribe members, your people in your industry. But it's really valuable when you can find them outside of your industry as well and see how other people are doing things too. Hey, Suzette's joining my inner circle today. Fantastic. Jerry says Damon has a great tribe. Yay! You've got a baby wreath business. Well, Jerry, look at what Damon's done with his baby wreath business in since just June, Damon? Since just June? Tamara Dean says you just booked your first craft show. Yay, girlfriend. Any advice for sales and setting up your booth? Okay, so whenever you're going to be doing any sort of a craft show, vintage market, home show type of thing, you have to remember that some of the people that are going to be there are just looky-loos. Okay, some of them are trying to just get ideas on what they can go home and make. Some of them are not there to buy from you. Now, the ones that are there to buy from you or anybody else that you can get them on your email list, okay? If you don't know what an email list is, Tamara, or what that looks like, it's the emails you get from Bath & Body Works every week that say their candles are now $12.50, and then you go buy 6. True story, okay? Get them on your email list. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can use different software systems to have them text a number, or different apps, not softwares, and then they'll automatically be added to your email list. You could do a giveaway, and at the bottom of the giveaway thing, have it say, you know, this is going to add you to the email list. Get them on your email list. Don't just go to a craft show or a vintage shop and just let it stop there. You want to continue the conversation with them as clients beyond that, and the best way to do that is via an email list. Valerie says she's going to bring the donuts. Woohoo! Amen. Brooke says she wants to give me a hug. Hey, Brooke Hayes. Brooke, are you related to any Hayeses in the Sioux City, Iowa area? I would love to know. Tammy, thank you for sharing this. I appreciate you. Okay, I know I'm missing other questions. Hang on. Sorry. Somebody asked about the doors that are behind me. I am in a different room today. Thank you for noticing. We've got some work going on in our home. And so I have somebody here working on some things. You know, friends, we have been on a weird 3-year journey of do we sell, do we not sell, trying to sell. It didn't sell. Me asking the Lord, why are we still in the same house after 14 years, Lord? Because who likes change? This girl. Who's been wanting to have a new project forever? This girl. And so Anyway, we've got people here working on some things today, and I'll keep you up to date on that. Let's see. Lori is relocating from California to Tennessee, and it's a bit of a culture shock. You're just starting your business. Should you hold off and start it when you get to Tennessee? Okay, Lori, I want you to really look at my Creators Roadmap course that launches October 12th. Okay, here's what my Creators Roadmap course is designed to teach people. There are a lot of your businesses that are completely dependent on you being able to sell to the people locally in your area. And what's going to happen if trends change? If you up and move? If, I don't know what you do, but what if you're a painter and you've suddenly ripped your shoulder and you need to have surgery and you're out for 6 months? What if you get called to jury duty for the next 6 weeks? Can your business survive that? Okay, and so the Creators Roadmap is designed for those people, teaching you how to not put all of your eggs into your local basket, because that will keep your business small. All right, and so look for my Creators Roadmap. Start your business now. Be gaining momentum on your social media. Be gathering more clients and things online, and hit the ground running in Tennessee. But definitely at least get it started online before then. You're so welcome, Katie. Your credit cards in hand, waiting on my Creators Roadmap. Damon, you're the best. Thank you. Debbie says, fear of failure or complete bankruptcy. What's the best way to finance a fledgling business? You are wonderful. Well, Debbie, so I specialize in businesses that don't usually have a lot of overhead. A lot of the people in my group have a storefront, okay? But it's not like they had to borrow $500,000 to start like a tech startup or something like that. Does that make sense? And so I always think that you need to balance real risk with any decisions that you make. Statistically, and I had a great podcast on this, if you go to themagicbrushinc.com/podcast, it was one of the first ones I did on how not to discourage people, but 8 out of every 10 businesses fail, brand new businesses. And there's ways that you can make sure that you're not on that side of the statistic, that you're on the flip side, and that you're in the 2 out of 10 that make it. But I would definitely go listen to that podcast for some good concrete biz advice there. Shelly says, I always say exactly what I need to hear. Hey, thank you. Lakasha says she's new to business after being a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. Lakasha, I was a stay-at-home mom for 12. And I built my business the whole time while I stayed home. You've just hit a senior director and you're passionate about your product and you're called to help others, but you feel like you're on an island because you haven't found your people. That's why. That's why. You need to find your people. You need to find a biz buddy that you can talk to. You need to find somebody that you feel safe with, because otherwise I can tell you that doing a business will feel lonely, especially if you're trying to focus online. So find some people that you can love on. All right, I'm going to take one more question here. Let's see, Jen Dahl. I like that name, Jen Dahl. I want a last name like the name Dahl. That sounds cute, like you're a doll. I love it. You have 3 businesses, none are directly related. You're trying to keep them all up. Any tips for keeping them on point or when to scale one back? You know what? When I do my podcast with Carrie Romina, I want you to watch her, okay? Because she's in the health and wellness industry. She sells Zingular. She teaches women how to podcast. And she has a She Walks in Truth podcast, Facebook page, etc. So if you have 3 businesses that are totally not related, I would probably totally brand yourself, Jen, instead of the businesses that you're doing. So if you sell mascara and leggings and dog collars, okay, I would just do Jen Dahl Creations or something like that where you can talk about all of them. Because trying to take care of like 3 Facebook pages, most people can't even do 1 effectively, for real. And I'll include myself in that group. It's just too much. It's just too much. And you're going to end up chucking it in the trash because it's too much for anybody. So I would not try to keep them all separate unless you have people that you can hire to take care of them for you. So I hope that that is super helpful. Listen, some of you are going to, in the next couple days, be needing a pep talk, because you're thinking right now about finding your tribe, starting your tribe, and you don't know exactly what to do, and you're going to need to be reminded of this conversation. Share this to your own personal Facebook page right now so you can go back and listen to it next week when you need a swift kick in the booty, when you need to remember that God will equip those that he calls, that he's not asking you to do something and then not going to give you the resources or the right mind to do it. So many people think, well, I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like I should be starting this thing, but I don't know how. The right people, the right knowledge, the right stuff will come right alongside to support you. Your job is obedience and taking the first step. That's always the first step. Laura says, is my inner circle for direct sales too? We have a bunch of direct sales people in my group. Absolutely, Laura. We would love to have you there. Terry says she needs a biz buddy. Everybody needs a biz buddy. The one that they can just be so completely transparent with, who does not have to be in the same industry, but I will suggest on the same level as you. Your biz buddy, because you both need to be able to bring each other equal value, even if you're coming from different industries. So if you're making, $1 million a year and she's making $10,000 a year, it's hard to understand the same issues, problems, roadblocks, etc. So make sure you're kind of on the same level of business, even if you're in different industries. So bless you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you again in the morning.